Cup, brought to you by the Nickel Plate. Sit, sip, savor, and shop.
Good morning, everyone. 8 o'clock on the start of a Friday. Glad you're with us for Second Cup. We have finally made it to Friday. Doesn't it feel like the longest week ever?
Yeah, yes, it does.
I could say this every week.
You do. We do say that often on Friday. But, I worked a couple noons, and then the weather was bad. So it's just like you work. Everyone's sick, so I'm dealing with that, like at home. And it's like, oh, it's Friday. Yeah. Like the alarm goes off. You're like, all right, this is the fifth straight day I've been waking up, before at 3 a.m. I can do it.
Right. You finally take that deep breath and exhale a little bit, and it just feels so good to have that weight lifted off of your shoulders.
Yeah.
But we collectively have a major weight on our shoulders.
What's that?
The Bills-Ravens game on Sunday.
You know what? I've been like the Bills, they clinched the AFC East months ago. You saw the Ravens were doing well too. It was kind of like this collision course with this team. This is by far the biggest game of the season, like for the NFL.
Right. Massive.
Prime time, 6:30 on Sunday. There's Derrick Henry. And obviously he's gonna get some yards, but sure. I like our chances. I really feel like this the weather could play a role, because I do not think Baltimore's practicing like indoors.
Right.
With the doors open.
You know what they say? When it's too cold for them, it's just right for us. And I feel like that really plays to our benefit, obviously. Yeah. But, it really makes sense when you think about it. When these other players, these other teams are practicing inside, or they have a warm weather climate, whatever it is, or they're a warm weather team, it is much more likely that they come here and crumble.
And I think too, 6:30 means an extra 5.5 hours of tailgating for
fans,
Bills Mafia. So it's 5.5 hours of tailgating means maybe a couple more beverages. I think that people, they're going to be bussing in. I don't know what time the Ravens will get to the stadium, like 2 o'clock, like 4 hours before the game. They're going to see 70,000 people already there.
Isn't that crazy?
And you're like, what is going on? Sometimes you kind of almost lose before you get in there. Then they get off the bus and you're cold and you've got all these people just yelling at you. And if the Bills could come out quickly and get a 2-score lead, and they don't have to give the ball to Derrick Henry every down, I think we have a very, very good chance. I'm I really feel whomever wins this game is winning the Super Bowl.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I have got to say, and I agree with Beauvais on this. I mean, not that I would disagree with him. He's the expert here. Tyler Bass needs to be on his A game.
He has been, though, recently.
He's been good.
He had a tough start to the season,
as
he probably knows.
But don't you take a breath, you clench your butt cheeks a little bit every single time. Every single time he kicks the field goal or something, or he's lining up, you're just like, oh God, and he makes it, and you're just like, yes.
Yeah, but last week the Denver kicker missed. Doink.
I know
that was huge. That was huge. So, I mean, I think the way they have the extra points now with the extra distance, you're always going to be a little bit nervous. But I feel pretty good with him. I feel, it's all you stopping Derrick Henry. And Milano played so well last week. If he's back to Matt Milano form, there's a huge game changer. You didn't have him against the Ravens that first game when they beat us 35-10.
It's true.
So,
Lori's so funny. Yes, I cross my fingers that he gets it through the uprights. I know. Crystal's cracking up. Way to try and choke
Aaron. I know, Crystal. I was like, I forget who I'm next to this morning. So I'm like, I got to be careful.
What are you drinking? Somebody wants to know.
Oh, it's the strawberry chocolate ice cap from Tim Hortons. It just came out. Dude, it is so good. So I got one for our producer in the back, Zach, the Zach Attack, we call him. And he also was like, I did not expect it to be that good. And it is that good.
Catherine Walsh, my dear Catherine, good morning to you, my beautiful, incredibly talented and smart friend.
You're really laying it on thick here to this person. What's going on, Edward?
I will not be there.
Does Catherine sit by you?
So Catherine is one of my dear friends. She is my gym buddy. And normally we'll tailgate or, do fun things. But...
So what you're saying, she's tough enough to go out there, but you're not.
Well, and here's the thing. It's a 6:30 game.
Yeah.
So that's tough for us. She's off the next day.
I'm working at noon the next day. Yeah. My eyes are going to be closed.
Right.
That's a tough day. Yeah.
everyone is inconsistent. You can't focus on one team member. I know, Joyce. I know. And then Howard suggesting that this might be a thing of the past after that red dye standard goes into effect.
So I guess I should probably load up on these before they go.
While you can.
Yeah, I know. That it's I know it's not the best thing for you, but sometimes it's so good. And I'm swimming today after work, so
good.
It's all good.
So good. Denise says, every time Bass is ready to kick, I say to myself, he's gonna miss it. No, you can't say that.
I say
you're the reason why he misses, Denise.
Oh, I'm like, it's going in, no stress here, and then it goes in, and you're like,
Barbara it's tough. The entire team needs to be on 100%. I'm nervous until the final score is confirmed. Even last week, I mean, it was a slow start. They hadn't played for a week. I think sometimes when you come off kind of a bye week, you do see a little bit of rust. You cannot recreate the pace of a real game. Sure. You cannot recreate the pace the Ravens come at you. That's why I feel like the Bills always on the first drive. They're like, the other team does pretty well, or they score, and you're like, that they're getting used to it. We'll be fine. I know it's true. Julie says I'm doing better than after her hernia surgery. Listen, it's been a month. I think this past Wednesday was a month, so that's what matters, right? Yeah. We're making progress. Kim says, I saw you running down the hallway today when you forgot something. I close my eyes when Bass kicks. Tammy says the crowd noise will make a difference. It will. I think it's going to make a huge difference, Damon. I'm with you. This is my favorite thing, a tush push. I know. Dawson, of course. Yeah. I think you're going to see them go for it a lot on fourth down. They want to keep the Ravens off the field. Kind of similar to what they did with Denver last week, where we had the ball for like 40 minutes and they had it for 20. Right. Yeah, because you're seeing that, and the complementary football that McDermott's been talking about since day one. You get the good running game. Then if you got to rely on Josh, you can. If you don't, hand it off, buddy. Like, we're going to need you. You're going to need to win a game at some point. You might as well be at the AFC Championship game. Listen, it's Bills, Ravens, 6:30, Sunday night. Can't wait to see it. But, hey, listen, on our air, on Channel 7 tomorrow, it's Houston Chiefs. So it's Houston, Kansas City. That's a huge game also. So make sure you're tuned in to make sure that you're rooting against Kansas City. I would say the whole country probably is done with Kansas City, except for, like, Kansas City. So, yeah. So you know what? And that's another team. They haven't really played meaningful football since Christmas. So, oh my God, I saw the funniest Instagram video yesterday. Oh my God, it was hysterical. I totally forgot to put it in here until you said something. Oh, okay. So, Patrick Mahomes, how he's so interesting to watch. And I'm not like complimenting him. I'm like, this is like a kind of like a backhanded compliment. Yeah. Whenever he's walking around, he always holds his hand like this, and he's like, he's going like this all the time. Yeah. So I saw that, if Patrick Mahomes was the parking attendant at an elementary school, with moms in the car, and he's going like this, I just thought it was the funniest thing in the entire world. That is funny. He, I mean, obviously he's very good. He won his 3 Super Bowls, but man, you watch him and you're like, oh, can someone just get him? Like, he's elusively fast, and he doesn't look like he would be, but I mean, his dad was a professional baseball player. Oh, really? So, I mean, most of these guys' parents were good athletes too. It was really funny, that video. I'll have to find it and post it on my Instagram. I thought it was. I'll look for that. I laughed out loud when I was watching this. How many times over under did they go to Taylor Swift? Okay, well, that's the other thing too, is that, remember that wedding venue that just opened? It's like a Bills themed wedding venue in Cheektowaga. The guy who owns it, he's like, hey, if Josh and Haley want to get married here, that would be awesome. So after watching it, I'm like, oh, we had our 8th grade celebration there. So Marigold? Like, yeah. Okay. So I've been there, and it's beautiful, and it's easy to get to. It's like right off the 90. So you could see a caravan of Bills vehicles going there, and that's so funny too. If you just like, Josh wants to get married here. So if Josh and Haley get married there, it is a guarantee that Haley and that Taylor and Travis are going to be there. Oh, really? Are they friends? I think Haley and Taylor are very good friends. So that would be super cool. I mean, not likely to happen. However, if it were in the cards, that would be awesome. Mm-hmm. Be nice to see. Probably do it. I know, Lauren. Don't they? Yeah, they're getting married in Cali, Lauren. I was thinking the same thing, because he has a house there. That's probably where she's from. It's your Robin rolls there. There you go. Russell. Bills themed renewal. Speaking of Russell, okay. Who's the bigger baby when it comes down to being sick in your house? Is it you or
Oh,
Sharon?
me by far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Russ is the biggest baby when he's sick.
Here comes his sister in 3, 2, 1
So,
saying, right on, Edward.
Thank you. He is like on both sides of the gamut. He will not admit that he's sick until he's sick and is the biggest baby.
I can understand that.
I swear I'm not the baby. I don't ever ask for help. I hate asking for help. That is one of my big red flags, is that I need to ask for help, but I don't.
Okay.
Thank you, Lauren.
The biggest.
Okay.
Russell,
So
Edward.
Lauren, you know me so well.
Yes.
So there's this new study that's out there that shows a third of people living with their significant other describe their partner as a baby when they are sick. And again, it's that gamut of like where they land. You're either stubborn, their partner can be stubborn, dramatic, or refuse to acknowledge that they're sick.
Yes. I was sick when we were on vacation. I was like, no, I'll get better. No, I'll get better. And then I had to go to urgent care the day after Christmas. You're like,
God.
You walk in and you're looking around. You're like, oh, goodness gracious. What? I'm going to get more sick by being in here.
Right,
And then,
I feel the same way sometimes.
But you know what? They were fantastic. They're like, hey, we'll give you a text. It's about a 4-hour wait.
Oh, my God.
Well, it's the day after Christmas, you know? And I'm like, whatever. The lady after me comes in with a dog.
Oh,
and he's like, it's a 4-hour wait. She's like, throws a fit. He's like, okay, cool. Have a great day. And she's like, no, put me down on the list. I was dying. Like, what? Where else are you going to go?
Steve does nothing but moan and groan. That's so funny. Joyce says she likes to be left alone.
I know.
Kathy says he is married 30 years and he goes to the ED in urgent care, but I do not. Happy Friday. Wow, Kathy. Okay. That's interesting. So listen to this. People have some odd behaviors too when they're sick.
Okay.
So listen to what some people do. They put their shoes in the fridge. I don't get that one.
I have never heard of that in my entire life.
No, me neither.
That's gross.
They can't remember their own name, which I don't believe at all.
I don't either.
But this is kind of interesting to me too. They forget to pick up their kid from school. I can kind of understand that in the sense that you lose track of time.
Yeah. So when I have to pick up mine, because he's got practice after school, so I have like 3 alarms set. Same thing for the morning. So I have one so I can get up because I got to get up when I'm making food. If I sleep through that one, then you get up and get them on time and we'll hit Burger King or something. But yeah, I could see the forgetting stuff. Forgetting your name. If you forget your name, I think you're probably pretty sick and you should go to the hospital. I'm thinking of some people who are at work who drama it up sometimes, who could be like that. I'm not going to say anybody. But yeah, it's like that. With this shift, because I can't call in sick, like I just feel like I don't get sick. Yeah.
Well, we're also very cautious here because
Katie's pregnant.
Okay. Well, and she's also a germaphobe.
Yes. So she's got the 2 things going for her.
Hates germs to the extent that like if one of us sneezes, she loses her mind and she will run to the bathroom, wash her hands, or we've got Germex here and
That's right. She's always got this bottle and there's a thing of wipes there too.
Here. So this is what we got here.
And this stuff.
Right.
This is all Katie stuff.
It's for Katie.
Yeah. We just sneeze on each other, but no, Katie's like, yeah, but I have like, we've been, every once in a while she'll be like, oh, you sound stuffy. I'm like, was fine on my way into work. You walk in here, there's a lot of dust and stuff.
The asbestos that's floating around in here.
Right over there when I walk in. So yeah, so we're very conscientious about the fact that she's also 35 weeks pregnant, so we don't want to get her sick.
And she's on the brink of 40, so I mean, you know what happens when you get a little bit older.
I do.
Your immune system gets a little weakened.
Go all gray and you're especially when you're not getting sleep. You told everybody she's turning 40. She's watching right now and she's like, oh my gosh, Edward.
Denise says my son had stomach flu and COVID. He's better now. Just lost his voice. Okay.
Oh, so my son's dealing with like a no voice thing right now. So he's just kind of, and like the worst when your kids are sick because you just feel so badly for him. Right. He's kind of like run down. They go so they're doing a lot of stuff when they're playing a sport. So it's there is something going around. Everyone seems to be sick, and every time you go into the newsroom, someone else called in sick today. So
or it's coughing and
yeah.
Gross. Julie's right with the germophobia.
Yeah.
Marguerite says, you better hope she's not listening. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'd say it to her face, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, mostly you're actually rougher to her in person, so we're a little more kind today. Are we talking Bill's forecast?
Let's also talk about the Bills forecast. Oh, Vincenzo had been pneumonia. That's so crazy.
A lot of kids going with pneumonia. And that's scary, too, when he's, because Vincenzo's what, like 3?
Yeah,
is he the little one?
He had 105 fever the other day.
Jeez, that's crazy. Jason, both his nephews are sick. Yeah, I put, you wash your hands. I feel like I did 100. My hands are so dry from washing them so much. We do the vaporizer, the water vaporizer, and that seems to help my son a lot.
What is Katie having? Does she know? No, she has no idea, Kim.
No, I call it a boy because that's
PJ.
what I think. And PJ, because their husband's
Paul
name's
Jr.
Paul, so I call him Paul Jr. But hopefully we find out soon.
Let's talk that Bills forecast because we're talking like historic frigid temperatures.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, we've had winters, but this seems like, winter.
And we talked about it too. The last few years, we had these El Nino winters where it was going to be mild and, it's just how it was. But this year, it has changed. We're kind of went from El Nino transitioning to La Nina, and that is keeping the cold in place. Snow showers will be with us Sunday afternoon into the evening. Very cold, around 15 degrees for the start of the game, around 12 toward the end. Winds won't be that bad, 5 to 15 miles per hour, but it will put wind chills in the single digits. You'll want to layer up. Be careful. You're tailgating all day. You don't want to go taking your shirt off or anything crazy like that, like Fitzpatrick's going to do. Here, we're looking at the feels like forecast late Sunday into early Monday. Single digit wind chills below 0 south of Buffalo. Monday afternoon, wind chill values about 5 to 10 degrees below 0. Tuesday morning, about 10 to 20 degrees below 0. A lot of kids heading back to school on Tuesday. There is certainly a chance it could close or be delayed on Tuesday because it's going to be windy and frigid on Tuesday. Even Wednesday morning, wind chill values 5 to almost 20 degrees below 0. So here are some of the stats for you as this cold air heads toward us. The polar vortex is going to bring that frigid air into the Great Lakes. Last time we were at 0, about 2 years ago, February 4th, 2023. Last time below 0, February 1st, 2019. We are 4 degrees below 0. We're not going to break any records next week with the cold, but this is the coldest air mass we've seen in about 6 years. I got an article on WKBW.com you can check out if you like, and it talks more about the cold for next week. So
How
I did.
was 2019, 6 years ago?
Isn't that so? I'm like writing my story, and I'm looking for the last time we were below 0, and I'm going back and back and back. I'm like, all right, that's like what, 2, 3? Oh wait, 6 years ago.
Oh my God!
It hit me too when I was doing that. It's crazy. So that's the coldest air mass in about 6 years. People are asking about schools.
Yeah.
We talked to someone in charge of schools this morning, and they said when you get close to that 15 to 20 degree below 0, that's when they could be delayed or canceled. So giving you about a 4-day heads up that you may have the kids at home Tuesday and or Wednesday.
Okay, good to know. The person we spoke with was actually the former superintendent of Hamburg Schools.
Okay.
He's now in charge of the Erie Niagara Superintendents Association.
Oh, okay.
So he's got
He probably makes the decisions. Yeah.
He's part of that.
We weren't just talking to Joe Smith at Tim Hortons. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Bernice wants to know, will it warm up by the end of next week? And what about some snow?
All right, we're in the mid-20s the end of next week. As far as snow is concerned, we are going to get snow. We'll mostly have scattered snow showers in the Buffalo and the North Towns, but lake effect snow will develop again. The band could oscillate a bit. It's too early to tell. The big focus is on the cold air, but Lake Erie still wide open on the central and eastern end. It's about 35%, 34.6 to be exact, iced over, but mostly that's on the other end of the lake where it's more shallow. Our end, 33 degrees, so still a lot of open water. Next week, expect the ice cover number to really increase.
I was going to ask, do you think that the lake is going to freeze?
I do. Now, on average, Lake Erie hits 32 degrees in early February, like February 7th, I think. But probably by the end of this month, maybe the end of next week, that ice coverage number could be up around 70 or so. I mean, it went from 12 early this week to 35%.
Right.
You figure you go another 35 to almost 70 next week. When the temperature is below 0, that thing's going to ice over pretty quickly.
We see a lot of the ice fishermen out as well. Joyce
Yeah.
wondering, will it be as cold in Arcade as it is by the lake?
Oh, it'll be colder in Arcade with Lake Erie at 33 degrees. Right along the lake shore, you're still, I don't say warmer, but that big body of water, you figure if you got a pot of boiling water and you're further you get away from it, the colder it'll be. Yeah.
Sherry says Regents exams are next week.
know.
That's a great point. Yeah, so it's
Midterms next week, Sherry. It's a thing that I'm sure the superintendents are taking into play because, it's such a hassle to make those up. So it's going to be very, very interesting next week with that.
Are college kids not back to school yet?
UB is not back in yet.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Feel bad for the college. Yeah. Next week, a lot of kids are coming back, and we'll well, it's going to be
Oh my
frigid.
gosh, yeah, it
Yeah.
stinks. I remember,
College kids walk around with no jacket
well,
on.
seriously, in
Yeah.
Oneonta, I remember like hating going to class in the winter because you've got that heavy jacket on, you're trudging through the snow and the cold, and it's like you get to class and what do you do with your jacket? You have to put it on those lecture hall seats, and sometimes they just swing around, and it's just a pain in the neck. That's the worst.
You're at Oneonta. I was at Oswego where same thing, just cold and snowy from the day we get back in January, and then there's like that couple nice days in April, and everyone's outside,
you're like sunning and tanning. That was the best. I remember that vividly.
Oh, me too. I'm like, oh, this is like the best days. Everyone's all smiles and like, you walk around for 3 months in 50 layers.
Oneonta was cool though. I mean, I was a tour guide, so I was outside a lot with a lot of these people.
Oh, okay.
So when you're touring the campus and you're going around, you're always layered up, you're always bundled up.
And we were both RAs at school, so we both had a lot of like extra responsibilities of having to do things. So we had to go outside a lot. Yeah.
Wow. Kim says the 29th colleges go back ECC. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Sherry says hers doesn't go back until the 24th in Brockport.
Okay.
That is insane.
My son had classes this week. He started on Monday back in school. So, but yeah.
I feel like January is the longest month to begin with, but then, to have to, I don't know, I guess things speed up very fast in college years. I don't know. Like, that just seems so bizarre that they're not back already. I can't even believe that.
I know. I'm kind of thinking, well, we were RA, so we had to go back early.
Right. I guess that's true. That makes sense.
I don't know. I don't remember that. Like, January 29th seems late.
Either. Yeah. Hey, I wanted to give you an update on my Goodyear story that I was telling you about yesterday.
Love it. Let's go.
So yesterday, after Second Cup, what I got was some really good information from Senator Rob Ort, who basically says that there is a lack of transparency inside the DEC. He says that they are not transparent with the public, nor have they been transparent with him or any of the other elected officials regarding what's happening at the Goodyear plant in Niagara Falls.
Well, thankfully, we have you and him keeping them accountable because it's a very serious situation. I've listened to your story and, I'm half listening because I'm working in the morning and it's a lot going on. But like I stop and watch your stories and it's fascinating what you've been doing.
This is a huge issue because on one hand, the state, its own mapping, its own research, its own data shows.
That was mind blowing.
Right. That there is a huge concentration of this chemical called orthotoluidine that is sitting above the plant and expanding out into the community. But the state basically says, the DEC says, oh, nothing to see here, folks. It's not an imminent risk. And, it's really not that big of a deal. However, the DEC fined Goodyear, as we talked about yesterday. And at that point, Goodyear really hadn't responded to those fines. So now, all new this morning, I got this statement. So I wanted to read it to you just so that we have it on the record and that you are able to understand the context.
Because you are going with full transparency.
100%.
Yes.
Always transparent. I'm open book. They say Goodyear is taking immediate steps to reduce emissions that include equipment updates and interim production limits. The company is also putting longer-term solutions in place to further reduce emissions as quickly as possible and will drive progress in accordance with the schedule outlined in the agreement with the DEC. Now, why is that important? Because
translate that for me. Yeah.
So the DEC says, yes, we will mitigate emissions. We understand what's going on. They've all but said that Goodyear has said, yes, we will mitigate emissions. They've all but said, we got a problem here.
Okay.
The DEC has done the same thing, but initially, the Goodyear response that I got was like, we have low levels of orthotoluidine coming out of our plant, which obviously in this latest statement is not the case. And they know that.
Yeah.
So,
the people around there, so they can't even go outside. They want to go outside and play with their kids and they can't do that because they're scared.
And that's the problem, that there is just no consistent messaging, and the consistent messaging that came out seemingly false. The DEC refuses to put somebody on camera to answer these questions. And realistically, they've got to. Yeah. So January 30th, there's a listening session, and that's scheduled for a church that's available up in Niagara Falls, located in Niagara Falls. So we've got information about that on WKBW.com.
With stuff like this, so if I'm a company and I have Ed Dranch knocking on my door constantly, you're not going away until you get an answer.
Correct.
So just come out, tell us the truth, and then you can address it. The longer you drag this out, then you're going to be talking about this every single day. And I think stuff like that's super important. I'm sure all our cuppies do as well.
Yeah.
So
not going
it's great
anywhere
that
either.
you're on it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we will put a link in the comments here to my main story, John. Maybe what you can do is just link us to the story called Getting Poisoned.
Yeesh.
And it's a 8-minute investigation and took a lot of work to do. So check it out.
Definitely. It's worth the 8 minutes. It goes by quickly.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Sherry says no gardens for those people, right? Because it's in the soil, it's in the water, it's in the air.
So
I mean, it's
horrible.
just right there.
25.
We got to go. Have a great day, everyone.
Go Bills.